Peace to the tribe. California lawmakers to vote on a bill requiring black demographic data be broken down by ethnic groups. Legislation introduced by Senator Laura Richardson, Democrat from Inglewood, that would require local governments to disaggregate demographic data for black or African American populations is up for a key vote this week. SB 515 addresses a critical gap by improving how local governments in California collect and report demographic data, Richardson told the committee. This bill recognizes that without an accurate, consistent, and complete information about the unique needs of historically marginalized communities, particularly those impacted by injustices, they remain invisible in our decision-making process. If enacted, the bill will go into effect on January 1st, 2027, requiring cities and counties to collect more detailed demographic data on black communities. This would include distinctions among African Americans, African immigrants, and Afro-Caribbean populations. Now, all of it sound good. I'm all for disaggregation and delineation. We need to be separate. Black Americans need to be separate from other ethnic groups in America. But when I look into this SB 515 bill, it's all over the place and it needs to be corrected. Let's take a look, shall we? It says African Americans who are descendants of persons who were enslaved in the United States means individuals who self-identify as black. Well, before the year 1960, we didn't self-identify as black, meaning you could self-identify as anything you wanted in America from the year 1960 till today. Well, the black label got put on black Americans. That's one of our harms. They stripped everything from us and left us with black. So we took black and made it the global phenomenon of what it is today. So I don't self-identify as black. When I look at my family tree, all of my ancestors during slavery, after slavery, were reclassified to black. And the crazy thing about this whole SB 515, they're calling us African Americans and the Afro immigrants, the melanated immigrants, African blacks and Caribbean blacks. If it doesn't have Black American listed as the ethnic identifier and quote unquote African American, American freedmen, FBA, ADOS, all those should come underneath the Black American ethnic identifier. If you have African American as the ethnic identifier and you got black underneath that and American freedmen underneath that, that is not delineation. With delineation, you got to gatekeep your ethnic and cultural identity. The Black Americans' ethnic and cultural identity is black. Black is my culture. You cannot separate a people from their culture. And I feel like referring to immigrants as blacks and Caribbean blacks, I feel like even referring to Black Americans as the blacks is derogatory. So I don't agree with this SB 515 bill at all. And this is not delineation. This is erasure. This is what ethnocide looks like. They don't even have Black American listed. They have African American listed as our ethnic identifier. And we already see what's going on in New York. The mayoral candidate, Zohran Mamdani, self-identified as black in the year 2009. So African American is too ambiguous. Once again, it's too vague to be the Black American ethnic identifier when we have a historical timeline of being classified as black. Now, this is just a sample. Shout out to stopethnocide.org. This is not nothing official, but it looks a lot better than that SB 515. Black American is our ethnic identifier, and all of our historical ethnonyms comes underneath Black American. We're retiring the term African American. That is too ambiguous. That is too vague. Every real Black American in this country, we all collectively were reclassified to black from 1790 up until 1865, prior to the end of the Civil War. We have legal census records, legal documentations, and we can see that our ancestors were reclassified to black. We are Black Americans. That is our culture, history, and legacy. It's black culture. The Caribbeans can have their own box. The Africans can have their own box with their countries, and same with the Caribbean. They can check their countries that they're from in the Caribbeans. So once again, Black Americans are ethnically black. We don't got to come up with a new name. If you want to come up with a new name, that should come underneath the Black American ethnic identifier. Shout out to the tribe.
First, I'd like to start off by thanking the chair, committee staff, and our sponsor for bringing forward this very important issue. SB 515 addresses a critical gap by improving how local governments in California collect and report demographic data. This bill recognizes that without accurate, consistent, and complete information, the unique needs of historically marginalized communities, particularly those most impacted by generations of injustice, remain invisible in our decision-making process. As we continue working towards equity in public policy, it is essential that our data reflects the full diversity of our communities. Let me give you an example of what I mean. On one form, we have the different data reflecting for those in Asian community, Cambodian, Chinese, Filipino, Indian, Japanese, Korean, Laotian, Vietnamese, and other. Pacific Islander, you have Guatemalan, Native Hawaiian, Samoan, and other Pacific Islander. However, on most documents, it only typically will reflect Black African American. Without specific data, challenges and contributions of our communities remain overlooked. SB 515 ensures that their experiences are recognized and considered in policy decisions. Similarly, the State Controller's Office and the Department of Human Resources provides more accurate data for ethnic groups, which I just described for you. And this bill is simply asking for the other counties and cities and state entities to do the same. By allowing SB 515 to analyze this refined data, government agencies can make sure that the unique challenges of different communities are understood and, more importantly, addressed.